I wanted to do yet another video on the MealSpec Flameless Ration heaters. And as I always say when I'm doing videos on these things, just to clarify, they're not really exactly a Flameless Ration heater. The Flameless Ration heaters you find in genuine MREs and in some of the commercial MREs, they operate on the same principle, but they're not meant to cook anything. They're only meant to heat things up. That's why they're called a Flameless Ration heater. So the easiest thing to call these, because they are so similar, is to call them a Flameless Ration heater. But it can actually get up to a temperature where it can cook things. It can sterilize water. It can just provide more heat than the standard Flameless Ration heater. So I think I've seen them called cooking bags on the website, and that seems to be a more appropriate name for them. But it says Flameless Ration heater on the bag itself. I believe they've also got a new Generation 2 coming out, which it comes in a bigger bag, and it can heat for a longer period of time. I haven't tried any of these, I haven't actually seen them in action, but it's a new product apparently coming out from MealSpec. My last video on MealSpec heaters focused on breakfast. So for this video we're going to do something similar, but it's going to focus on a food that could be either for lunch or dinner. I'm going to heat up a can of Dinty Moore beef stew. Canned food is a lot like the MREs, the meals in the pouches, because it's already fully cooked, it just needs to be heated up. So all this gives instructions to heat it in the microwave or on the stove top. It basically just needs heat, so we're just going to do it in one of the bags. And this is kind of an extra thing because I did a can of corned beef hash in the last video, but it was a smaller can, so I just kind of wanted to see how well this could heat up a full-sized can. We're also going to take a look at a Hormel Compleats turkey and dressing meal or dish. It's one of the ones that's meant to be put in a microwave for 90 seconds. And this is something I've been actually wanting to do these for a while, because these are actually really very similar to what you find in MREs. If you take off the outer packaging, you have something that's kind of similar to a retort pouch. And it does have a pretty good shelf life. I bought these quite a few months ago, and the best by date is almost a year from now, September 16th, 2015. So I would say these probably last about a year and a half if you get them when they're brand new. And like the canned foods and like the MREs, this stuff is already fully cooked and it just needs to be heated. So it's something that obviously the MealSpec bags will be able to handle very easily. So there's nothing here that you can't do with the Flameless Ration heater, but like with the breakfast one, I wanted to try something that actually needed to be cooked. For breakfast we made a little 1-egg omelette, and for this lunch or dinner, I'm going to attempt to cook up some ramen noodles. These of course require boiling water. Although the MealSpec bags do get up to a boiling temperature, it doesn't really remain at that temperature for too long, a few minutes at the most. So we'll see how it does with the ramen noodles. And since the ramen noodles are going to need time to cook, I'm going to start with those. Alright, now the instructions on the ramen noodles say that you boil 2 cups of water and add the noodles and cook them for 3 minutes. This is going to be my first time trying to make ramen noodles in one of these bags. So I'm going to add 1 cup of water with the idea that it'll be less water that needs to be heated up in the time that this is going to be at its peak temperature. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break the noodles in half. And I'm going to use an MRE hot beverage bag to heat this up in. I think any heavy-duty Ziploc bag would be fine. Actually, I'm going to break them into quarters. Well, I was hoping to do the whole thing to make it worth being a meal, but because of the size of the hot beverage bag and the fact that the heating element's down at the bottom and I want to make sure that as much is in there as possible, I'm actually just going to do half of the package of ramen noodles. Now before anyone says anything, I realize there's a number of different ways to make ramen noodles. The fact that my way may not be the same as yours doesn't mean it's wrong. The fact that yours is different from mine doesn't mean yours is wrong. As long as it comes out how you want it, I think that's fine. And this isn't how I usually do it, but I'm going to go ahead and add the seasoning right to the dry noodles. Put all of it in there since I'm only using half the noodles. And I'm going to go ahead and add our 8 ounces of water. I'll try to get most of the air out of here. Let's seal it back up. I'm just going to mix this up a little bit to get the seasoning in there. Here's our noodles, the water, and the seasoning. Ready to go into the bag. Take the top off the bag. Take the heating element out. It's going to be in this little bag here. Open that up. Put the heating element back into the bag. Add our food to the bag. And then we're going to add 3 to 4 ounces of water. Give it a few seconds before the reaction starts. I just want to make sure the water gets in here pretty good. Seal the top back up. And then move away so it can start doing what it does. Whoa. Now that's the reaction I wanted to get from the one I did last time when I had an empty bag. But anyway, it's working. I'm going to use the heat gun to see how the temperature is doing on this. Well, I'm not sure how much the popping of the bag affected the quality, but I can't seem to find it going up much over 190 degrees, or about 85 Celsius. Hopefully that'll be enough to cook this stuff. Alright, while that continues to heat up, I'll go ahead and do our beef stew and our turkey and dressing. Now, I was hoping to put the can in sideways. Some more of it would be directly in the water, but there doesn't seem to be quite enough room. I'm guessing that method would work better with the Generation 2 heaters. And our 3 to 4 ounces of water. Seal that one up. And get the next one started. That's a little more like it. You can see that one really working. Hear it too. I'm not exactly sure what happened with the first one, but this one seems to be working a little bit better. There was plenty of heat on the first one. Instructions on these to microwave it for 90 seconds. Let's see how evenly we can get it heated in here. Same thing, I can't put it sideways. If I could put it horizontal, I think it would heat a little bit more evenly. But I can only do what I can do. Put that in sort of weird there. And just a quick check on the temperature of these things. I can know where the best spot is to get the highest temperature. Look at the heating element itself. Again, not quite as high as expected. There's a good amount of heat in there. I'll let them all hang out together so they can do their thing and come back in about 10 minutes. Alright, these things are quiet now, no more steam coming out. Still a good amount of heat in there. It feels like they've heated up the food pretty good. About 130 degrees on that turkey. A little over 120 on the beef stew. You can see the water and the heating element are still quite a bit hotter than that. But looks like they did a pretty good job of heating up stuff. Actually, the first one's still up around 175 degrees. Sorry, 180 degrees. Let's see how everything did. Let's start with the beef stew. As I had mentioned, the pan was in basically like this, so it wasn't all being heated evenly. The can itself is very hot. Bottom a lot hotter than the top. Let's see what happened. The top is registering 120 degrees. We're a little over 48 Celsius. If you're looking for a hot meal, it's got some steam coming off of it, and that's a good sign in itself. A little over 100 degrees. Mix it up a little bit, see if that changes. Close to 125. It's not too bad, something just needs to be heated. And the Hormel turkey and dressing. So it's pretty warm too. If you would eat this cold, you could eat this cold, but obviously this is just like the MREs, it's better when it's heated. The liquid definitely turned gravy on the edges. It's a little bit congealed on the top here. And we're getting a little over 120 degrees on the top. Which leaves us with probably the least tasty but most important part of this meal. This is the only part that needs to be cooked. Ramen noodles. This bag is still very hot. Guessing that it did a good job of heating up the water in the hot beverage bag. And that's retaining the heat. It looks good. Looks like it's cooked ramen noodles. Maybe even a little overcooked, anyway. And strangely enough, that is the best heated of all the things. This is over 150 degrees. Or 66 degrees Celsius. Very hot. Actually, this one, the one that popped, still has some steam coming out of it. It must have something to do with what's being cooked in them. I don't know. Wow, it's hot. Actually, this one still has a lot of heat in it. It's still puffing up when you close it up. So after about 15 minutes. Look at that. Still around 180 degrees too. The other ones are... The other ones are definitely done. Wow. That's very impressive. But here is our MealSpec lunch, or dinner. Obviously, this is just heated up beef stew. I'm basically just judging it on the temperature. That's good. It's not going to scald your tongue, but it's hot. It's what you'd want. You have a can of soup. It'd be much better to have it heated than just open it up and eat it right out of the can cold. And our turkey, like I said, the very top here seems to be slightly congealed on the gravy. But it does have some heat to it. It's not cold. See if we can get down into the dressing in here. See what kind of temperature we have in the middle. 120 degrees, not too bad. Looks good. And it tastes good. It's always better to have something heated up than have it cold. Not quite as hot as you'd have it if it was in the microwave for 90 seconds. Maybe plenty warm for a cold day. Which just leaves us with the important thing, our ramen noodles. Like I said, these almost look like they may be overcooked. Yeah, they're definitely cooked. I mean, so they almost seem a little bit soggy. Like you left them in the water too long. So apparently, if I was able to find a bag that was big enough to cook this in, I could have done the whole thing instead of just the half bag that I ended up doing. Well, now let's see. It's another very successful test of the versatile MealSpec heating bags, or Flameless Ration heaters.